Hey guys, it's Blue Eyes Master 91, and I thought I would keep things rolling a bit and dive into the updates I've made to my Attic Nister deck. So let's dive in. So, not a whole lot changed with this deck, just small tech cards to try to make it a little bit more consistent. We have our 3 copies of Picari. I am still personally running 3 Doyan. I have run into a lot of problems running it at 2, even though that's the most common number to run it at. And then I have my 3 copies of Achichi, single copy of Doshin and Hiyari. And then the final Ignister monster in the main deck is Damari at Ignister. So not a lot has changed. These are still pretty much common in every single Ignister deck. You may not see the water and earth, and the ratios may not be what you'd see, but those are pretty much the Ignister monster you're going to see in every deck. Moving right along, we get into the first tech package, which is the Mathmech package. Once again, I do not have a spare Sigma at the moment, so it's only at 1, which is fine because I'm running all the Mathmech stuff at 1. And then after that, we get into the second package, which is 3 copies of Firewall Defensor, 2 Firewall Guardians, and then 2 Cyber Sage. So, like with the Firewall Dragon deck, my main strategy for this deck is no longer just go into the Arrival and sit. It is one of 3 strategies, because just going into the Arrival and ending the game basically with that doesn't always work. So having a couple of options is always nice, and between the Arrival, Singularity, and Access Code Talker, that's easy enough to deal with and do. So that's my train of thought, at least, behind adding in these cards. We do have a copy of Ibli, because Ibli is annoying even though it's easily outed. Just normal summon by tributing it. And then we have 3 Ash. So that's it on the monsters. Let's dive into the spells. So I'm only running 1 copy of the island. At the moment, I only have 1 copy of Dark Infant as well in the extra deck. With the changes I've made, it became very, very difficult to keep more than 1 copy of the Infant and the island in the deck. I do have a second copy of Infant in my side deck, as well as another copy of the island, I believe. Yeah. I also have Dark Templar in the side deck as well. He is no longer in the main extra deck. We then have 3 Mining, 1 I Meet You, because if I'm using this, it's in one of 2 situations, and odds are I do not want to take that 2,300 points of damage more than once. 2 Idle Reborn, which are generally what you're going to grab with Doyan's Link Summoning effect to recycle a spell. We have 2 copies of the Ritual spell, which again is the same reasoning as with the Code Talker deck. It's 2 ritual monsters, 2 ritual spells. You can pitch one of the spells for Silent Mining if needed. We have a single copy of Equation. We do have a copy of Feather Duster, which is not in the Firewall deck. Feather Duster is a spell card I absolutely try to run in every single deck I have. It is just too good not to. It is a free back row wipe. I know a lot of people are using Lightning Storm, but the issue I have with Lightning Storm is you cannot control anything on the field. And that is very, very difficult in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I do have a single copy of Raigeki for similar reasons. It is a generic board wipe. It is not restricted to having nothing on the field. We then have 2 copies of Imperm and our Torrential Tribute. Torrential's in here just because it's funny. Basically, it's also probably going to piss people off. Pardon my language. Which is why it's perfect. Moving right along, we do have, once again, we have our single copy of The Arrival, our single copy of Singularity, single copy of Access Code, and single copy of Firewall. All self-explanatory. We have a single copy of Light Dragon, because Light Dragon lets you recycle monsters in the graveyard by resummoning when a different Cyberse monster inflicts damage. Fire Phoenix is fun just because it can continuously revive itself and take a monster with it if you use the Chi-Chi's banishing effect. We do have our copy of Durasworm. Once again, it's to go into our Synchro monster, which... Hold on. I need to grab out. Which is our Quantum Dragon. I do have another copy. I just had to dig it out of my binders. So, Durasworm, Quantum Dragon. We have 2 copies of Transcode Talker, a single copy of Decode Talker, Heat Soul, a single copy of Splash Mage, let me clean up my mess here. A single copy of the Cyberse Witch, 1 Link Decoder, and then once again it's just a single copy of the Dark Infant. So again, this is my personal preference on the build. It's not written in stone that this is how it has to be built. You are allowed to change it to fit you. Personally, I have found that the way that I have the deck set up is consistent. Getting into the side deck real quick. I do have 2 copies of Flame Buffalo, a Dark Hole for another generic board wipe, the second copy of The Island, a Called By, 2 copies of Dark Ruler, Neo Tempest Terahertz, the second copy of The Infant, and our copy of Dark Templar. Now, the reason that I have Templar in the side deck is because now that I'm no longer focusing specifically on going into the Arrival, there is absolutely 0 reason to always have it in the main deck. Plus, if you don't use it in the first game and you go into game 2, your opponent's not going to think you had it. So you bust it out and their entire strategy can be sunk. So it's just a really, really good way to catch an opponent off guard. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And I will catch you guys in the next video. See ya.